Welcome to Where There's Wheels.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your Make a Pixie casual gamer.
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
And we are here today with an initial impressions of Dorfromantik, brought to us by Pegasus Spiel by Michael Palm and Lukas Zach. Plays 1 to 6 players in 30 to 60 minutes. In Dorfromantik, it is a cooperative tile placing game in which you are creating a beautiful landscape with hexagonal tiles while trying to fulfill the tasks requested by the residents. And this game, I traded for this one late last year, and yeah, so we were very excited to get it to the table. All right, the theme of this one. So the theme of this one of building out lands is basically building out landscapes and completing tasks, and I mean that's what you're doing. So I don't know overall. I'm not sure the overall like theme. This one was a little tough to discuss the theme because really it's just tile laying and placing out the landscape tiles and completing tasks.
But the landscape tiles, there are different kinds of landscape tiles. So there's forest, there's like farmland, water, and terrain.
And village.
And village that you have to build out. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little different than some of the other games when we talk about theme that have like this really like I mean, I guess the theme is building out your landscape. And so you are doing that and you are fulfilling tasks that the residents, that the villagers want. So I'd say the theme comes through in this one pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Components. So let's go onto the table for components. So the components of the game are your hexagonal landscape tiles, your hexagonal task tiles, and then your these ones are called these are your actual tasks. Yeah. So your task markers. So you have your task tiles, and then you have your task markers, which tell you like what you're going to, what sort of thing you're going to do. So like this one has a water task on it, so you're going to place a water task marker on it. You have these boxes here that you will open because this is a campaign game, replayable campaign game. So you have these boxes that you are going to open as you play in order to add new things. You have your campaign mat here that you are keeping track of your campaign on. Over here, your results and what game you got it in, things you've unlocked over here, and here you are working through this. On here, when you get to different hexes, you take stuff out of the third box. The first, second, fourth, and fifth boxes will open at different times. You can see here, box 1 and box 2, you open pretty quickly. And then this is your individual game marker. There are some things in here. I don't want to spoil too much. I will show one thing because this is in box 1, so you get it pretty quickly. And this is a little heart token. So you have this heart token that does some different scoring. But yeah, so that's really what the components are. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much as far as components that are in these other boxes for people, but it's more tiles and it's more tokens and it's more little things that you add into your game. Artwork.
The artwork is kind of cute on this. It's very simple. It's extremely simple. Some are half tiles of half one theme and half another theme. The houses are very simply drawn. They're all aerial views of everything. The railroad track, I'm not sure I would travel on the railroad track.
That railroad track is looking a little rickety. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's looking a little rickety.
It's looking a little sad. But all in all, I mean, I guess I could say it goes with the theme, but I'm not sure what the theme really is. But yeah, it's cute. It's very simple. Everything eventually goes together once you get into the gameplay. So
yeah, the artwork. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a simple aerial view of the different lands. You've got your forest, your village, your grain, your tracks, and your streams. So yeah, I don't think you want too much on it.
No.
Because then it could get too cumbersome. And some of them they have like this middle, like this green area that's just not one of the actual landscapes. It's just kind of extra land around there, and that'll come into play when we start talking about the gameplay and stuff. So yeah, very minimal artwork, but still it's very easy to tell what the things are. And I will say our task markers over here, we do have 6 of each. That's because we did open one of the boxes and it did add one extra one of each. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So the setup for Dorfromantik is very, very simple. You put all of your task markers over here. You can stack them. It's just as easy just to leave them with their different colors. I'm just noticing that it is very hard to see that.
That's very hard.
Very hard to see that color. Let's see if I can make that just
there's yellow.
A little darker to... There we go.
Kind of a reddish brown for the houses.
For the village.
And then you've got the water source, the forest, and the train tracks.
Yeah. And then you take your landscape tiles, you put them in 3 piles. You will take 3 randomly out, put them back in the box. That's 4. Then you will kind of shuffle them together. Any extra landscape tiles, I don't want to show what's on the other side of this because we've unlocked this one. Any extra landscape tiles, once you've taken the 3 out, will be put into your piles there and kind of shuffle up, and you put your task tiles over there. That's the setup. It is a very simple setup because there's no board. It's very similar to games like Carcassonne and stuff where you are actually building your board out as you play. So very easy setup. And then you place your player mats and stuff aside. When you unlock things, you get little cards here that you keep off to the side that remind you of how to use some of the things you've unlocked. So those will be off to the side. The gameplay for this is fairly simple. You will take either a landscape tile or a task tile and place it down. In the first 3 turns, you are required to place at least 1 task tile. So if I take a landscape tile, I can place this down. I've got some village, I've got a train, I've got grain. So unlike games like Carcassonne and stuff, you are not required to place tiles next to matching things, except for the train tracks, and the rivers must be placed next to train tracks and rivers. So within the first 3 turns of the game, a task tile must be revealed. Once the first 3 turns are over, then if there's less than 3 tasks that are still available, you must place a task tile down. If there's 3 that you're still working on, you will place a landscape tile. So we're just going to play a couple turns here. So Stacey's going to do another landscape. Oh, that is not a good landscape tile.
No, that is not. Nope, your river's going to run into it.
It's going to run into it no matter what. That is a really bad... Oh, there we go. That's a good spot. So I have to take a task tile because it's within the first 3 turns. Oh, and that one we got kind of lucky because it is a railroad task. So then we're going to take a railroad task marker. And this is saying that we need to have 6 railroad in order to clear this task. Okay? So now that the first 3 turns are done, if there are less than 3 tasks, you must put a task out. And that's a water task, and that's a good one. And so the water and the trains, they can't run into other stuff. The other things you can put anywhere. Oh, and another train. Goodness. Actually, that's really good because we can double this up. Maybe. Let's see if we... And it's a 5, so let's see if we can... If I put this here... So this is actually a tile that was revealed during opening one of the boxes. And so now, because we have 3 tasks that we are working on, you will continue doing landscape tiles until you start fulfilling those. And so a strategy in this is you want to try and start building stuff out. So, and it is cooperative, so...
We are not having very good luck with these today.
No. We don't have any place being built out, and we can't place it there because there's river there. So this one just has to kind of go somewhere.
Put it over here.
Yeah. And so you just keep on placing tiles. Okay, so here is a flag tile. So this flag will score at the end of the game. And what it does is it scores for a forest area that is completely closed off from other things. So you see this village here closes this side off. This nothing area kind of closes this side off. So you will score 1 point for every tile within this forest. So now we are working on this forest to make this forest very big because it will score a lot of points. So there's a forest one, there is a village one, and there is a grain one. Is it the yellow one? Yeah, and a grain one. So in there, and then as you unlock things, you may get more flags, tiles that have flags on them to help you score. And so we just, oh, there's the village one. Actually, that one's really good. Actually, that one's not good because we need to be, well, that's not a good place for it because we got this railroad here. Maybe here because we don't want to block off that. Oh my god, that is not a good tile. These are not good tiles because we got river here. I mean, that's going to do the same thing as over here. Ooh.
Unless we go with it over here.
Yeah, we just need to make sure this. So, yeah, so we would just keep on going. I was really hoping we'd. I guess we should have.
Something. We should have stacked.
We should have stacked the pile. Okay, so let's just show this. So, like, if I were to put this in here, at the end of the game, this would score 4 points for this flag. Okay, so we're gonna just kind of grab some. We're not gonna take turns. Let's see if we can find another railroad, just so we can show how to. Here we go. Okay, so this railroad now has 5 tiles. So what we would do is we would take this off. This would go over here, just out of the way, so you know you've scored it. So now that there's only 2 tasks, the next tile drawn has to be a task tile.
Oh, look at
and
that.
Actually, that works maybe down here.
It's a railroad.
I know, but it's a grain task. So we could put that there. Yeah. Oh, draw your card. So the other requirement is you cannot place a task card down that would make something longer. So if we get another railroad task, we couldn't place it here because they're only 4, 5, or 6 long. And if you place a railroad to connect this, that would now be 7 long, and you can't actually do that. We would have to place it here or here before connecting this. We could put a railroad landscape tile down to clear this off, but it makes this railroad really long, which means the rest of the railroad tasks are going to be very hard to do. You're going to have to build somewhere else because I could not put a task down that would make it longer. So like if I were to get a railroad and I were to get a 4, I can't place a railroad here because this would be longer than 4. I couldn't put the railroad here because it would be longer than 4 as well. So you always have to kind of be cognizant of that. You can have it, like if I were to have a railroad over here and it were to be like 3 and put one here, you can then clear both of your railroads because it would fulfill both of them, but you can't place a tile down, a task tile down that makes the area larger than what your task is. So that is the basic gameplay of it. You keep on going until all of your landscape tiles are gone. If you clear a task on your last landscape tile, you can then continue drawing task tiles until you can't fulfill them. Because sometimes you get really lucky and you draw a task tile and you can place it because you get like a 4 or 5 and you've already got a set spot filled up or set up, and you're like, oh, look, I can set this down and I've already fulfilled that. And then you can keep drawing task tiles. But the round ends when, or your individual games end when your landscapes are done. And then you go to scoring. So on the scoring, you will look at your different tasks. So you'll look at how many points you get on these. Like I said, these are worth 4, 5, and 6. And you put how many points you have. Then you look at your flags. And you look at your forest flags, your grain flags, and your village flags. And you put how many points you're going to get with those. Then you have your longest rail line. So this is where, like, eventually we would want to get this rail line connected. But we don't want to connect it too early because it's going to make it hard to make this to get some other tasks. And then you look at your longest river and those score. And then this middle part are things that get unlocked. So like we've unlocked the red heart. So we kind of check mark it off so that you know you've unlocked the red heart. And the red heart will score you points. You use this, and I'll talk about this when this one does come in the first box. When you place this down, you have to place it as soon as you place a landscape tile. It can't be one of the special tiles, and it can't be a task tile. And then for every matching side, you get 1 point for the red hearts. That's one of the special ones that you get. So and then you add up your total score. You put it on your campaign board over here. You see what your score is over here, and you see how many things you get to cross off. So you see, we've played a couple games. We wanted to get a couple games in before we did this. So you see, we've crossed off quite a few of these. We were able to open box number 3 and get this card. We're close to opening box 3 again and getting this card. So all of these cards and things are in box 3. So yeah, so we're close to getting that, and we're close to getting, or we got that, and we're close to getting that. So this adds another tile for us to play with, and this will also add another tile or some different ways, some different things that get you some different scoring so you can move faster through it. And that is the gameplay and the scoring. Replayability. I mean, it's a campaign game, and you are unlocking things and adding new things in. So that right there, the fact that you are unlocking things, make this very replayable. The tiles are going to come out in different ways. Your tasks are going to come out different ways. You're going to place things different ways. I think this game has just a ton of replayability simply because it is made to have replayability, because you have this large campaign that you're going to try and get all of the things unlocked.
I agree. I mean, the tiles are never going to come out the same. The tasks aren't going to come out the same.
Even the task markers aren't going to come out the same.
Aren't going to come out the same. But the play is going to be the same for the most part. So if you're looking for different variability in playing style, that's not going to be there. I mean, we've only unlocked one box or 2 boxes.
We've unlocked 2 full boxes and then one thing out of box 3.
And it has changed a little bit with each box that we unlock. So I don't know what's coming in the other boxes, so that may change how you play the game as well. I don't know because we haven't made it there. But if you're just looking for replayability, it goes on forever. I don't know how many pieces comes with it, but
there's 48 landscape tiles included in the base part of it without the unlocked components, and 32 new ones, 31 new cards, 8 markers, 5 wooden hearts, and 1 plastic stand for something at some point.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Okay. So,
and none of that is spoiler because it's all on the components page here. It doesn't tell you exactly what, it just tells you what's in there so that you know.
Yeah, but it's never going to be played the same ever. So replayability is endless, I believe, on this one. And with each box you unlock, it gives you different gameplay, different components that will be added into the game, different scoring. So get on with yourself. It goes on forever.
Yeah, and the other part about when you start unlocking the boxes is, like, when we unlocked box 4, we did something to be able to unlock box 4, and it gives you 5 achievements here. You got 5 cards that you're working towards. So when you get these achievements, then you unlock something else. So you're going to try and do those. So you're going to play differently simply because you are going to want to unlock those things. So like, oh, I need to get this. So what do I need to do to get this? Okay, we need to make sure we score this many points on rivers, or this many points on flags, or whatever it is, in order to unlock extra things on these. So it's really cool because what they have is they have an achievement on one side. Oops. They have an achievement on one side that's locked, and then when you fulfill it, you go to the unlocked side. So yeah, I think just because as you start getting more of these things, you're like, okay, I need to get that achievement. I need to get that achievement. So what do we need to do to get that achievement? Okay, maybe our overall score might not be as high, but we want to get that achievement so later on we can score more. So that right there in the campaign part of it is, it does make it, will force you to play differently as you continue playing. So it will force you to play the game differently because you will have to do things to unlock different achievements. So yeah, I think this one has well, I mean, it's going to take a while to get to the top of that achievement thing. So I think it has quite a bit of replayability. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to stop playing yesterday. Because
No,
I just
we
wanted to keep getting the next
yeah,
achievement.
yeah, we actually played. Usually we play 2 or 3 games before an initial impressions because we want to get a good idea of the game before we talk about it. And we played 4 games. It also plays very quick. At
Mm-hmm.
least early on, it plays very quick. With 2 players, it's like 30 minutes. And then and then the setup is because you're just restacking the tiles. You just flip them all over. One person kind of shuffles them up, stacks them. One person shuffles the landscape, stacks them. You just kind of put all the task markers over to the side, and yeah, it goes pretty quick. Final thoughts.
I like this game. Like I said, I didn't want to stop playing it because I wanted to keep unlocking stuff and trying to figure out what was coming up. Um, but I like simple games. I like games that are easy to set up. I like games that are considered a weeknight game. And I think this covers all of my likes. The only problem that I had with it was the scoring. Thankfully, Ian's here to help with the scoring. It's not that difficult, but I didn't understand how something was going to be surrounded. But once you play it and you can figure it out, you'll see where it physically is a separated part of the land that will score for the
The
flags.
the flag the flags was definitely the part that was the most, just because we had to look at the examples like, okay, is this actually separated or not? Because some of the tiles, they look like they're on the edge but they're not. So yeah, you just have to like, okay, that is surrounded, it's not open to a side. So I
Yeah.
agree with that.
But I do like this game. I I'm excited to see what the other boxes bring to me. I like this. I like that. Is this is a campaign game,
A
right?
campaign game,
So I
yes.
like that it's a campaign game and not the
Legacy.
legacy game because you don't have to damage anything. You don't have to write on anything, so it's unplayable. You just unlock your box and go on with your life. So
And you can reset it. I could,
yep.
even if I wanted to, because we know what we've unlocked for a 2 player, I could actually reset it and play solo as well, a separate campaign if I wanted to, or when we get done playing through the entire campaign, if I want to do a solo one. And the good thing with this one is, I think once you play through it, I think you can be like, okay, good, and it could easily probably be moved on to someone else to play and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that for. Yeah, I really like this one. I will say the one thing that messes with my mind on this one, because I've played Carcassonne at my board game club at school and other similar games, kind of like Gnome Hollow and stuff, is the fact that you don't have to have the same landscape type next to each other. And so, like, as we're playing, we have to keep reminding each other we don't have to place it. We always want to place like the grain next to the grain, or the forest next to the forest. And when you're trying to get those trees, we get towards the end, we're like, we just need to place that so we can surround the forest area. So that is the one part that it is taking a little bit a while for me to kind of wrap my head around, is you don't have to um
Match them.
match the things. And the other thing is, we want a really long railroad and a really long river, but when you start getting that too long too early, it really messes if your task style comes out and you've already got one that's longer than your task. So trying to set that up ahead of time, like, okay, we can set up
Mm-hmm.
small sections so that we can fill the tasks. And I think we realized then that, you know what, maybe adding a one tile to a railroad, when you can put it somewhere else to add to help fulfill a task that's worth 4 or 5 points, was kind of the way to go. It's like, that's going to be 1 point on that railroad, but if we can get this and we can get another thing over here, we get 5 points on this grain
Yeah.
field or whatever. So yeah, I really like this one. Like I said, I traded for this one late last year. Um, it was a game that I played only solo, that just good game, but it just didn't work for me personally. And I'm glad I did trade for this one, because we did start. It was also, we had started playing a lot more games together, kind of uh, early midway through last year. So my gaming preferences changed, and I'm glad that we got this one. And it's fun because it's cooperative. We don't have a lot of cooperative games. And usually the ones that we have that are cooperative are more party style
Mm-hmm.
games. So to have a more of a gamery game that's cooperative, we really like. So yeah, I think that is it. It's a great game. We highly recommend it. If you've played it, let us know down in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
See you next time.
At the table.